Hey guys, my name is Joel. This is my first YouTube video, but that doesn't matter. Today we're talking about fiction dictation. Now there's a lot of videos online about how to dictate fiction, but I haven't seen a lot of videos showing actual practice doing it. So today we're going to talk about what dictation is, why you could benefit from it in your writing, and we're actually going to practice together. So I'm super excited. Let's jump in. Google defines dictation as the action of speaking aloud to be written down, recorded, or typed. And a lot of famous authors have dictated throughout history. Agatha Christie dictated dozens and dozens of mystery novels. John Milton dictated his famous epic poem, Paradise Lost. And even the Apostle Paul dictated various letters during the early church. So this is a method that has been around for quite a while. So why would we want to use dictation? There's a few reasons that dictation would be really helpful to use in your writing. The first reason is that it just saves time. You can get more words an hour while dictating than you can while typing or writing by hand. There's an author named Chris Fox that has a book called 5,000 Words an Hour. I'll link to it in the description. It's super helpful, and it's all about how you can get more words per hour by using dictation and a few other methods. It's really helpful. Go check it out. Another reason you might want to dictate is for the health benefits. A lot of older authors complain about neck and back problems while looking at a screen for so long while they're typing. Well, this is a way to mitigate that. You can dictate while you're walking or jogging or in the car. You don't have to just sit at your desk and type. You can actually go various places while you're writing. So this is a huge health benefit. I actually do it while I'm jogging. It helps me exercise and write at the same time. Another reason you might want to dictate is because it might help you be more creative. You see, you've probably been talking since you were a toddler. Every conversation you've ever had has been improvised. So you've been talking for a long time, learning to pull words when needed. So it might come more naturally to you than writing by hand or typing things out. Now, that being said, it is a skill set. While you've probably been writing since you were in elementary school, dictating fiction is a very specific skill set that you have to learn. So if you've tried it before, you probably felt silly and you've probably felt like it was really bad writing. And you're right. It's a whole thing you have to learn. But don't just write it off after one time of trying it. Keep going. And that's what this whole video is about. And let me just say too, there are so many different methods for dictating. You can use a computer program. You can use an actual person. It just matters what works for you. So for me, the easiest right now is the iPhone. But I will look into some other programs as I go along and as I get better. Okay, so we're finally going to practice together. We're going to use two different methods to practice dictation. The first method is we're going to be discovery writing a short story. And the second method is we are going to plot out the scene and actually dictate it. We're going to compare them. We're going to see how it does. Let's get started. All right, we're going to be discovery writing for this first session. So I just need an idea for a short story. I promise this is not pre-planned. I have my friend's book here. I'm just going to flip through, find two words, and come up with a story on the fly. So let's do this. The first word is aging, and the second word is guard. The aging guard. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so let me set up my phone. I will have the phone screen so that you can see it after I record it, so you can just kind of understand what the transcription process looks like. Let's do it. The aging guard. It was his last shift. The moon had risen high into the sky, and even though he had been guarding this wall for 18 years, he was still on third watch. He didn't expect much commotion tonight, with the king's army being miles away for training. There was no reason. No. This was the safest time of year for the kingdom. He hung his crossbow on the wall in the guard tower. No, he picked up his crossbow. He grabbed his crossbow from the wall in the guard tower and stepped out onto the viewing balcony. The land of Landia was beautiful, especially at night. The bioluminescent trees glowed in the distance, and a soft breeze blew off the landscape, warming him from the winter chill. "How you feeling about your last shift, boss?" a young soldier said. Tim, an eager young man who had just started in the guard only a few months before. "Fine, let's just get through this," John said. Just then, a ripping howl screeched in the distance, a sound that John hadn't heard in 12 years, and he knew it immediately. A memory sparked through his mind of his village being raided, his wife fighting off poison wolves that were breaking through the windows. Dozens and dozens of creatures. A single bite from them could kill over 10 men. The howl echoed into the wind, and John blew the horn to prepare the rest of the guard. This was not a good night for the army to be away. Most of their enemies would be subdued in the snowy mountains during the winter, but John had completely forgotten about the toxin wolves, the poison wolves. And even though it was his last night on guard, he wished he had never taken this job to begin with. All right, that was weird. That was really weird. Sometimes I used basic names like John or Landia, just so that way when I'm editing, the computer understands what I said, and I can go back and actually change the names later. If I say a name like Sethronica, it just won't, whatever the name is, it just won't capture it sometimes. So that's why I did that. All right, so now we're going to do a plotted scene, which means I'm just going to give a few bullet points of things I need to hit during the scene, and then we're going to do this same exact process with dictation. All right, so in this scene, a character named Bob, I'm just using simple names for the phone's recognition, is going to be going to visit his uncle. So in this scene, I need a few things to happen. He needs to get onto the train, and while he does, he needs to see a man in a green top hat getting off the train, a suspicious man. And then he needs to sit next to a lady that is gossiping about the town. So those are my 3 bullet points. That's the plot of my scene. Very simple, but we're just testing here. And so let's try it out. Bob hated his uncle. He didn't want to go stay with him. No. Bob didn't want to go stay with his uncle. He hated him. As the train came to a screeching halt before him, blowing leaves and dirt to swirl around his ankles, a deep pit formed in his stomach. He was only 11 years old. So when the rush of the crowd stepping off the train flooded past him, he got bumped and shoved in every which way, no one caring what happened to him. Suddenly, he was jostled to the side, and he made eye contact with a man in a green top hat. It was a dreadful moment for Bob. The man was suspicious and dark, suddenly disappearing into the shifting crowd. Bob shook his head clear and tried to make his way onto the train, finally finding purchase to step off the landing. Turning into the closest train car and showing the attendant his ticket, he only noticed one spot open. He only noticed one seat available. He walked over and sat next to a squat lady Her putrid perfume almost made his eyes water. She wore a hat with a fake bird on it and a strange hot pink dress. "What's a strapping young man like you doing on a train like this without his wife and child?" she said, laughing to herself at the ridiculous joke. Bob didn't look at her, just stared straight ahead and replied, "I'm going to see my uncle." But in that moment, he knew that that was a lie, because he didn't want to see his uncle. He wanted to run away, I guess. So that was weird. That's how you do it. I hit all the plot points. It was strange. I messed up, but that's what editing is for. And that's what we're going to do next. All right, now that we've dictated, I'm just going to take the transcript and I'm going to put it into a Google Doc and we're going to edit it together. All right, so here we are in Google Docs and this is the dictation. So this is where we're going to clean up a lot of what we didn't want in the initial dictation. So for example, I started with the wrong line. I said, no. And so I'm going to delete all of that. Bob didn't want to stay with his uncle. He hated him, right? And now we're moving on. As the train came to a screeching halt before him, blowing leaves and dirt, not in dirt, this is the thing, and dirt into a swirl around his ankles, a deep pit formed in his stomach. He was only 11 years old, so when the rush of the crowd stepping off the train flooded past him, don't need a comma there, he got bumped and shoved in every which way. And I guess I'll do a comma here too. No one caring what happened to him. Let's start a new paragraph. Suddenly, he was jostled to the side, and he made eye contact with a man in a green top hat. It was a dreadful moment for Bob. The man was suspicious and dark, suddenly disappearing into the shifting crowd. Is that a period? Yeah, I'm going to change that to a comma. All right. Bob shook his head clear and tried to make his way onto the train, and so on. And so you're cleaning up a lot of what you had initially messed up on in the dictation, or maybe some of the punctuation or spelling errors that the dictation machine made. I'll post the final version of this down in the comments for you to comment on and tell me all the mistakes I made with grammar. But that's essentially how you do it. So that is how dictating feels. It feels silly and weird and awkward, but you have to get through that phase to get better. As Jake the dog from Adventure Time says,
"Dude, sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something."
There are a few techniques other authors use to get started dictating. Some people listen to music in headphones while recording on a separate microphone. That can really help get in the vibe of whatever scene you're doing. I like to jog or walk while I'm outside. It just feels like I have boundless creativity, and it helps me speak faster. So find your flow, try different things, and keep practicing. If you really want to get good at this, you're going to have to be bad at it first. And that being said, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. If you've watched this far in the video, I assume that you're into or interested in dictating fiction. So what I want you to do is after the video, take 2 minutes and dictate something into your phone. It can be anything. And then go through the editing process and post it below. Post it in the comments. I don't care if this video is 5 years old by the time you see it. Post it below. I want to see what you guys make. And I'll post mine below and you can rip it to shreds if you want. Actually, no, be nice in the comments. Don't do that. But it's all about just getting it done and getting it out there. And I promise you, it'll feel so good. So we'll do it together. Just put it below. I'm so excited to read what you guys dictate, and I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please share it with another writer friend who maybe is interested in dictation. I don't know if I'll ever make another video, but this is one I just really wanted to get out there. And let me just acknowledge a few resources that will be really helpful that I'll put into the description. First of all, Joanna Penn and her podcast, Thomas Umstead and his set of podcasts, Seth Ring, Chris Fox, like I mentioned earlier, There's a few others that I'll link to. They're just really helpful. If you want other videos on what technology to use or what programs to use on your computer to get the right sound, these guys are really helpful in doing that. Like I mentioned earlier, this is my first video. I'm a new writer, and so I'm just learning all these techniques, and I just wanted to share this with you guys because it really helped me get started, just seeing other people practice and feeling silly and just doing it. So I hope you don't feel alone. I hope this video was encouraging to you, and if it was, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Until next time.